you need to motivate yourself. If you are an entrepreneur, that means you're doing something that you love.
Right.
And if that does not motivate you, I don't know what will.
Hey guys, hello and welcome to another episode of the Free Spoken Podcast. मैं हूं आपका होस्ट सनद और आज हमारे साथ हैं मुस्कान अग्रवाल. Now Muskan is an entrepreneur at the mere age of 18 years. So today we will talk to her कि A Trillion Smiles जो कि एक corporate gifting company है जो मुस्कान ने 18 साल पे शुरू करी थी, वो कैसे आई, क्या रहा उसकी story and what does she have to give to the people who are trying to come up as an entrepreneur at such young ages. So hi Muskan, how are you doing?
Hi, Sanat. Firstly, thank you so much for this warm introduction. It really means a lot. And I'm doing fine. And
Okay,
like quarantine, it's pretty much the same.
I get it.
Yeah,
So quarantine का time you just mentioned quarantine time. I am pretty sure कि quarantine के time पे बहुत सारे लोगों ने ये entrepreneurship का एक dream देखा होगा. Because with the jobs
right.
being lost, with people facing these crises related to their private jobs, so the people have started coming up with कि चलो let's use this time to get into something we have been wanting to do. So 2 years back when you were 18, you started out with A Trillion Smiles, and there was no quarantine as far as I remember 2 years back. So how did it all come about? Like 18 is the age where people are deciding their colleges, कौन से college में जाना है, क्या करना है. एक प्रेशर होता है कि मुझे अब मैंने कॉमर्स लिया है, so I have to do either CA or I have to do either BCom, BBA. उस टाइम पे how did it turn out कि you started A Trillion Smiles?
So, okay. Actually, I started it when I was in school,
Mhm.
and I started it right before my board exams.
Okay.
So I always used to, make cards for my friends, my family members. And after one point, they really appreciated all the efforts I put into making all those cards. But
Mhm.
after one point, it was more like my friends are asking me that, girl, can you make a card for my friend or my family member? I'm like, okay, fine, I'll like make
Mhm.
a card. Then it's like Teachers Day, like my friends are asking, let's make a card from my tuition teacher. So it's just like one thing led to the another, and we just thought, why don't we commercialize it?
Okay.
So we went about it, probably not at the perfect time, because
Mhm.
I literally started it before like 2 3 weeks before my board exams, 12th
Mhm.
class. But yeah, we started it then, and like back then it was more like a hobby,
Mhm.
but now it's a grown business. So yeah, A Trillion Smiles will be turning 4 this November actually.
Wow, that's wonderful. So that means कि board से just पहले where people are like the most scared, at that time you went forward with something that was completely unexpected. So at that time, were you even aware that there is something like called entrepreneurship, and there is something that can come out from this small thing that I'm doing right now?
No, to be honest, no. I literally just made an Instagram page, and I am like, let's explore this. And like at that time, it was literally about earning some pocket money sort of thing from the thing I like love doing, making cards and everything. Because after a while, but after a while, I just realized it's actually nice and it can turn to something bigger than this. So
Mhm.
I started exploring more. Then again, we like figured out how we can deliver. Like initially we just delivered across NCR, but then we
Mhm.
were like spread across like India, pan
Mhm.
India. Then we also delivered some global orders. Then we like
Wow.
figured out packaging, delivery, all these things. And I didn't realize when this became so big. So it was actually, it came as a shock to me as well.
Okay, so
And
when was that moment when you realized that this is going big? Like, this is something that needs to take a form of a company or something. So, when did that come through?
I think so. I was in my first year, I think, or second year of
Hmm.
college, and there was this class, like I think on organizational behavior or something. I don't remember exactly,
Hmm.
but the professor basically asked us to list down 10 things of how you would describe yourself as.
Hmm.
So I started writing 2 words. I wrote budding entrepreneur. Then I'm like budding. And that just, it's just, I don't know, I'm like, no wait, I am an entrepreneur, why am I writing budding now? And I don't know, it just struck me. And then like I think it was again holidays, like some time near that. And I came back to my house and my father was like, let's get ATS registered as a company, let's get the
Uh-huh.
name trademarked. Then all those little moments where, you know, again my family, what they did was, because we had to plan all these things of how we can like go about like expanding it and scaling up, my family was very supportive, and they were like, they just, you know, bought a whiteboard
Mm-hmm.
to just plan out all these things. So then at that moment, I realized, oh my God, this is something. And, you know, everyone at college, they were like, what about our placements? We need to sit for our placements. And my dad was like, you're going to do this, right? You're going to do this. Why are you worrying about placements and
Right.
everything? And I was like, oh my God, if my dad is saying that to me, it really means a lot. So that was the moment when I realized that ATS is something. It's not just a side hustle.
Right. So when we say 8 years, a trillion smiles, let's just take a moment to tell our audience that what exactly is it all about. Just please elaborate on that front too.
Okay, so Trillion Smiles is basically a startup that aims at providing personalized gifting solutions,
Mm-hmm.
both corporate and non corporate.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned, we started this in 2016. Then
Mm-hmm.
we were focusing on only occasions like birthdays and anniversaries. But now we are expanding our wings. We are focusing on different verticals of new products in the field of printed goods and digital illustrations. And the events we are focusing now, we are focusing on weddings also, then
Mm-hmm.
baby showers, then like I said, corporate gifting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's basically
So
about Urchillian Smiles. We are,
okay.
yeah,
So you started from cards and now you
right.
have moved down to practically weddings and baby showers. So something that children do in their free time, if I can say that, that has turned into something that people invest huge time and money and attention. Things like marriage and baby showers. Now, when you started this out, you were by yourself, or did you have a team already at hand? That okay, these 4 or 5 people are there who will be managing stuff for me.
Okay, to be honest, that was my family only.
Okay.
So back then, I was like more of an introverted person. I don't know exactly how I would put that, but like whenever I used to get an order or something, like talking to strangers, that just scared me a bit. So I like my sister was always there to back me up, and she used to take calls, some of my calls, and interact. And then she was like, you can go about talking to them about this, you can reply with this.
Mhm.
So she always supported me from that front. Then my father, like whenever we were like, oh my God, we have to get it delivered at like in 2 days or something like that, my dad was always like, we'll figure this out, don't worry, just focus on the product, it needs to be good, you need to give your best,
Right.
like you need to ensure that quality wala thing,
Right.
I'll take care of the rest. Then when it came to packaging, I was like, we did not have like a very good material for packaging,
Mhm.
and we did not basically figure out that stuff back then. So my mother was like, don't worry about that, don't worry about the sizes, we'll
Mhm.
just figure it out, I'll take care of packaging. So we
Okay.
basically distributed the work among ourselves, and that really gave me this feeling that I'm not in this alone. So
Right.
even like I started this alone, I would never say that it's just like, you know, my company or something like that, because my family supported me throughout, my friends supported me throughout.
Okay.
So like to be really honest, that was my initial team.
I see. So an initial team of 4 people, including you, that was your mother, father, sister, and yourself. Now, if I talk about the current team, so I'm assuming there are around 5 to 7 people there, if I'm right.
Okay, so there are approximately 13, 14 people in the team right
Okay.
now, and some of them are product designers, collaborators. We are
Mhm.
collaborating for products like handmade chocolates, then
Mhm.
3D printed goods like pop art models and
Mhm.
frames and all these things. And then we have this internship program running where
Mhm.
we have 9 members on board with us for
Mhm.
content writing, digital marketing, and graphic designing, and all these things.
I see. So you have gone that far that you are practically providing internships, and that's just in these 3 years of time. So that's really big thing. Now, I would want you to tell the people how exactly a person starting out can look for a team, because I do believe that this is one of the stages where people actually, I would say, refrain from going forward with the startup.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I have the perfect answer because I'm really not an HR person. I'm very very picky about all these things. But like when it came to the, for example, internship program or like collaborating with people, I think networking is the obviously the first thing I would like recommend to others as well who are starting out with their own business, because that really helped me. Because for example, recently only I started like networking on LinkedIn, and I became more active. And because of that, I have a team of like basically this internship team right now.
Mhm.
And even before that, I when I was in my college, it was like I obviously had this friend circle, but apart from that also I used to know a lot of people, interact with them.
Mhm.
Because when you're growing, you're interacting with so many people, and there's like I don't know why I was restricting myself to like only the faces I see like in person. And then I realized there are a lot of person I haven't met any of these interns actually like in real life, but
Mhm.
all these interns are so talented. And so basically, yeah, we rolled out a form, and my friends helped me in the internship process, like hiring these people, and we got the perfect team. And I'm really proud we have them on board. I would really love them if they stick around.
And
So
that's
yeah, that was about it. Basically,
that.
networking is the key.
Networking is the key. So that if you put it, in simple terms, you shouldn't restrict yourself to the faces you see. Just what you said. Just try putting the word out. Probably you might find somebody who is interested and looking for a person in a similar fashion, right? Moving on from that, there is this one thing that definitely caught my attention while thinking of speaking to you, that people also wonder what exactly to do, because you see, you turned something that was, I would say, your passion at that point of time, or something that was your hobby rather. So you started from something basic, you went on to something that is big now. So how do you suggest that people should go about with their first product or service or deliverables when they're deciding that what should I do?
Okay, so I think you need to have a USP for that. That is the literally the first thing I would recommend people, because when I started out, I used to make a lot of cards, albums, boxes, all sorts of handmade things. But one thing that at least people told me, and I later realized what set me apart, was the neatness in those boxes
Mhm.
or in the packaging. Basically, if there's one line that is like even 1.1 millimeter like
Mhm.
different, I cannot handle that. I need to cut that out. I need to like have the proper square.
Right.
So neatness was one thing that people told me that this is different, this will set you apart or something like that basically.
Mhm.
So I knew I kept that in mind. I had a like basically minimalistic outlook that my products can be like this maybe.
Mhm.
And instead of mixing all the products, I basically picked a few of those,
Mhm.
specialized in those, and then went about it. Basically, and also understanding people's perception on what they think of the product. For example, if I'm like bringing out five, six products, and maybe
Mhm.
they like only two or three products, there's no point in like continuing with the other four. Like you
Right.
can always have them in the back end, but still, it's better that you promote the rest of the two. So
Right.
I would say that you experiment for a while, but then you select a niche and like stick to those two three things that will lead to more revenue and success basically.
I understand. So if I put it into three simple things here, that would first be understanding your USP, that what do you do the best. Then, beyond that, you can go about selecting a set number of product initially. Just focus on a couple of products first, go about it, test them out in the market, and then go forward with the other lineups that you have. So that's a
Like keep
very
on
nice thing.
exploring.
Yeah, and then lastly, the customer experience is important, right? Customer success is
Right,
something that is a big department in various companies, because that is ultimately the place where your product is going, right? So if the customer
right,
is not satisfied on that front, there won't be any sales of your particular product, isn't it?
right.
So when you talk about clientage, LinkedIn can be the place which can get you through. So Muskan, what else do you suggest as the avenues where you can start marketing your product initially? Apart from, like, of course we have social media, people try doing it on Instagram initially, right? But what has worked for you? Please tell us about that.
Okay, so I spent mostly like during these 3-4 years, most of my time was spent on Instagram. But I think although Instagram had been really helpful, but I think having a presence on LinkedIn also helped me. If not to get more clients, it helped me in getting more collaborators and the right people to work with. So LinkedIn, basically it was a platform I thought would not be that helpful for me. I had this mindset that it's more helpful for a B2B firm, I guess.
Right.
But it was really helpful for me. So that was one thing, and also having a website. So basically it helps you in SEO, in getting found on the web. So that helped me a lot. Like whenever people are talking about a trillion smiles, or for any business for that matter, the first thing they do is they check it on Google, not on
Right.
Instagram. Before Instagram, they like Google that name, if that name comes up or not.
Right.
Because whenever you are like purchasing online, and you haven't heard the name of the company, it's the first instinct. You
Right.
have to just search it online once, and then you move on to their social media handles.
Mhm.
So that is something that is really important for a business to have, basically a website. Even
Mhm.
if it is not completed, just have the website, show what you're doing, it's
Mhm.
fine. So
I see.
like yeah, I also went about it like we made a website, we made social media handles on like all the platforms. Although we are not targeting all these platforms, but it's good to have presence on all platforms.
Right. So you can say that it's a mix of SEO, then LinkedIn as well as Instagram, which
Right,
can basically help you to get that basic boost. And of course, having a
right,
website is important, no doubts over there, because website is something that you can get at a very, very basic price these days, and that can be
right,
developed by your own self. That's what I believe. Now, let's suppose a person listened to you from this very conversation. He understood that, okay, we can start it at any age, we can start it at any point of time, right? Then we can choose the product, how to get it through, how to get through the team, how to go through the marketing part. But then let's come to those 3 pointers. If you can give, or I would say, if you have any 3 pointers specifically that you endorse, that, okay, these 3 things are the ones that people should do in order to get to a better, I would say, to get a jump start in their startups.
okay. So I think the first one would be motivating yourself.
Hmm.
Because if you're starting a business, like at least for me, when I started out, I was really happy because I was trying something new. But after a while, it became a bit monotonous.
Hmm.
Like I'm making cards and all that.
Hmm.
So instead of like exploring more verticals and what can be like done to scale it up, I was like, I just went offline for a bit. And
Hmm.
it is difficult to motivate yourself when you do not have a lot of deadlines, because when
Right.
you have deadlines, you know that we need to do this work, we need to do it by then. But if you don't have that, or you don't have that guiding light, and you are the basically the guiding light, and like you have to make that work, you need to motivate yourself. If you are an entrepreneur, that means you're doing something that you love.
Right.
And if that does not motivate you, I don't know what will. So that is something that worked for me. Like every time I'm like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to make another order, I'm like, no, wait, I have to do this, this is my thing, I have to make it work. I
Right.
think that would be the first thing. And I think second would be that there's no such thing as wrong.
Okay.
And like I myself keep on experimenting with literally everything. For example, if like I'm working with my team, if there's this content that needs to be published, I'm like, we have tried this content formats, let's try this for now. ज्यादा
Hmm.
से ज्यादा क्या होगा, वर्क नहीं करेगा, अच्छे रिजल्ट्स नहीं आएंगे, but it's okay, we'll at least learn that it won't work. What if it will, what if it works better than the other content?
Right.
So it's nothing like we cannot go wrong. हम कुछ
Hmm.
भी step लेंगे, there will be an outcome, and if not that, like if not a positive one, we will learn a lot out of these things. I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be my like second suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think third would be digital marketing.
I
Like,
see.
it has literally helped me a lot during these past 2 3 years, and especially this year
Mm-hmm.
during quarantine also, when I didn't know how to scale it up, and I was like basically worried about how this will work everything. Because like for example, corporate gifting, Diwali is coming up, and we have to go out to arrange for gifts and talk to vendors and talk to all these collaborators.
Right.
It just gets a lot of like, it just gets very hectic, and
Mm-hmm.
you after a point you don't know how this will work. In that case, digital marketing does help us out. And there's this vast marketplace of prospects that is being unexplored by businesses and brands, small businesses especially.
Mm-hmm.
So startups also, like basically everyone needs to realize the scope of digital marketing. And I think right now also, the number of customers we have, I think 80% of them are through Instagram, LinkedIn, and all the social media platforms.
Wow.
So digital marketing does help us a lot. And if you don't have the time or skill to invest in digital marketing, then hire a digital marketing agency or a freelancer, or maybe me. So basically, like jokes apart, but digital marketing does help you out. So I think every business needs to give it a try.
Okay, and that's, I believe these are a few things that, they have been around you, but you don't acknowledge them. Because if I put it one by one, the motivation factor, the very first thing that you said, is something, the moment you get into monotony, you start thinking that this is not even paying me off. Like, what am I doing? Instead of exploring other verticals, or instead of exploring what more can be done, we just stick around to that thing till the flame dies, and we just move out of it, that that it didn't work out, right?
Right.
Then beyond that, you very rightly said, you can never be wrong. And lastly, as you said, digital marketing so is something जो आज की डेट में अगर आप नहीं कर रहे हो, so you are living in the world of landlines when everybody is talking about like tablets and mobile phones. So
Right.
that's how it works. And I think these are the best tips that a person who is just rising into it can offer to anybody who is just behind them. As I always say, even if one person is watching this episode and getting inspired that, what, I can get this done, then the purpose of the Free Spoken podcast is solved, right? So
This
that's
the
how.
sentence of yours always give me goosebumps. I really like this positive outlook that even if one person is watching this, you're happy with it, because at least someone is getting influenced through this, and it's actually very inspiring.
That's actually how I think the world can go on, right? So I would say this is where we can sum it up. So kudos to you, Muskan. Kudos to your team and
Tha-
ATS. It's been a
Thank you
pleasure
so
to
much,
have you
Sanad.
here, and I would love to have you sometime down the line when you're bringing out something new, and we can get you back here, talk more about how exactly can things work out down the line after this COVID thing ends,
Definitely.
right?
For
So
sure, for
thank
sure.
thank you so much guys for watching this. I hope that you like this video, so do press the like button, do subscribe to our channel for more such content. And also, if you have any corporate gifting needs, I would really leave a link for ATS's website, as well as I would leave a link for their LinkedIn channel, so you can connect with them at any platform. We'll get the links from there, and I'm pretty sure that she'll be there, because for me, as far as I've seen, Muskan has come up with the best possible solutions you can get, the most versatile
Thank
solutions you
you.
can offer.